Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Post Fight. And in this edition of Post Fight, I'll be doing Post Fight UFC Fight Night or UFC Noche Grasso versus Shevchenko 2. So yeah, let's recap. For this card, I went 7-2-2, or you could just trim the fat and say 7 of 9 because one fight was a no contest, another fight was a draw. So that takes off 2 fights. Wait, how that work? Yeah, so 7-2, 7 of 9. So eliminate the other two because we just do win-loss ratio. Because like, what's the point of trying to say, 7-2-2, do this, 7 of blah, blah, blah. Let's just focus. What was the wins to losses? It was 7 wins, 2 losses, win-loss ratio, or whatever the case are. Yeah, 7 of 9, that's what I'm saying. So solid card, very solid card. Could have been better in some ways, but ultimately, I feel, like I said, somebody could say, oh, it was this, it was the easy card, it was this, that, but I feel my reads for every single fight was on point. That's where it is. So it's not just purely off just picking fighters and this and that. Like, it's about, were your reads on point? Did you attack it the right way? Did you look at things in the right way? And I feel like I did. Even in L's, the 2 L's on the card, I feel like I was pretty close on what I saw. My analysis was on point. So not really a whole lot to take and learn from this card necessarily. Some good things to look at that could go forward. It could benefit you or benefit y'all and me or whatnot. But not a whole lot of like to learn because again, I feel like I was pretty much on point and attacked it the right way. So 7-2. Now let me focus on the L's. The first L I think was it was Jasmine Vicis versus Tracy Cortez. And there was no home cooking, there was no this, no that. Tracy Cortez won. Jasmine Vicis did address the wrestling very well, and she actually was the more successful wrestler grappler in the fight. But it was Tracy Cortez's adjustments and improvements in the striking that allowed her to get the win and land a more effective damage. Still a very close fight, but the clear winner won. It was close and competitive, but it was clear that Tracy Cortez won 2 rounds to 1. And yet the improvements in her striking allow her to edge out those rounds and get a decision victory. So good on her. I thought, prior to what I saw from Cortez in her last couple fights, or the fight she did have in the UFC and prior, her striking did not look that improved or look at that level that it was tonight or yesterday. But that's the game. Like, you dealing with fighters, they're developing. A lot of times fighters do be stagnant and they don't improve, or they be absent and they don't get better. I feel Tracy Cortez got better. She wasn't able to show no wrestling wrinkles. It would have been more, probably, I don't know if it'd be more impressive, but it would have been a good look for her if she was able to have some success in the wrestling herself, which she didn't have no success in the wrestling. And that would be something, like I said, I had success in the wrestling, I had success in the striking. So now you might have some issues like, has her wrestling diminished, or is Jasmine Vicis just really that good of a counter wrestler? I did say she's a good counter wrestler and grappler in all right, and she showed that and got the 2 takedowns. She had some significant control times in a couple of the rounds. But yeah, ultimately it was Cortez's damage and consistency in the striking department that got her over. Like, she got taken down like twice, but the majority of the fight took place on the feet, and that's where she won it. So close fight, went to decision. And yeah, that's the fight. Then the second L was it was Padilla versus Nelson. Padilla versus Nelson. And I was low confident on this one. Low confident, no investment in this one at all. I don't understand why people were so hyped on Padilla. Padilla had not shown anything. They were getting hyped off him knocking Julian Rosa, who had been knocked out by a lot of people, and not all of them been like high level competition. So he has a tendency of getting caught, had a tendency of making striking defensive mistakes and not having the best chin at times. And that's what Padilla was able to capitalize on. He tried to do similar things to Nelson, but Nelson wasn't having it. He tried to be aggressive and stay in his face, but Nelson was able to walk him into overhands, touch him with head kicks and whatnot. He leaned over his neck, looked like an ostrich a lot of times, and Nelson was making him pay for it and kicking his legs out from underneath him. It was a very close competitive fight, but I think the clear winner won in Nelson. Nelson was the better man on the night. He's continued and continuing to thrive in that dog spot, and yet again thrived, and now he got another win as a dog, back-to-back fight. So good on Nelson, showing improvements, getting better with each and every fight. But D is a young talent. I think he can get better. He has a nice frame for the featherweight division, and really lightweight too if he adds on some mass. But at 45, I think he has a pretty good frame. For it. If he wants to go up to 55, that could be potential for him. He's still a very young guy, and I think he can make a lot of improvements. Do I think he's gonna be some star stud or anything like that? I don't think so, but I think he can be a No, he has spent some good years as like a middle of the pack gatekeeper, maybe higher than that. But I feel right things. I think at the very least he could be a middle of the pack, lower middle of the pack gatekeeper, and stick around the UFC for some good number of years. So promising talent, but the better man won on the night, and the better man on the night was Kyle Nelson. That experience came through. He had his ups and downs in the UFC, and now he's finding his stride. And also along the stride, he's like thriving as a dog and thriving in that dog spot. So good win for Kyle Nelson. And again, I don't know why nobody was all hyped on Padilla. That was a low confidence pick for me, just as Jasmine Jasdovicis. Except Jasmine Jasdovicis actually put a little bet on her as a dog. Not to say she was my max bet or anything like that, but she was like, I see her potential. I see her path to victory in this one, and she has a very good shot. Everything's kind of lined up for her. I'll put a unit on that. That was for her. So, but dealing with Padilla, he ain't really showing me much of nothing. He just did what a lot of other people have done to Arosa. And not too long ago, Alex Everett just did that, like head kick and knocked him on the first round. So, and like Arosa, this guy that's such an amazing guy to do like that too. It's one of the bad tendencies and track records or traits or patterns in Arosa's career. And yeah, so that's the two L's. Then to the main event, I'm not gonna talk too much about anything else, or I'm just gonna talk about the main event and wrap it up. So main event was um, Alexa Grasso versus Shevchenko 2. Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko 2. And yeah, it was a great main event, to be honest. It was back and forth, very competitive, much more competitive than I thought. And I ain't mad at it, to be honest. I was hoping Grasso won so I could know some of those tickets could cash those tickets, but plenty of the other ones cash, but and positive night in that department for sure as well. So it was a great night, especially in like all departments. Prediction wise, betting wise, everything was great. So solid night all around. But it would have been even greater if Grasso would have got her hand raised because that would catch a couple more tickets, like 2 or 3 more tickets, and more money, more money. But it is what it is. It went to a draw. How I feel about the fight is I honestly feel like Grasso won the second round. I feel she won the fourth and fifth. So I feel like she won 3 rounds. Second round, everybody, pretty much unanimously thought she won the round because he dropped her. Fourth round was very close, but the knees while um, Shevchenko had like one hand down, were a significant part of why people leaned around for Grasso, and she did almost have a back take in that fourth round as well, but got a little too high on that one. And if she would have gotten that back take in the fourth round, that would have been a much clearer round for her. But she wasn't able to get it. End up on bottom, but she still won that round on most of the judges' scorecards. In the fifth round, it's kind of a debate. Like, did she really win the fifth round? And why is it a 10-8? But I don't feel like it needed to be a 10-8. I feel like in my opinion, I feel like she clearly won the second round. Fourth round was close, but I feel like she clearly won the fourth round. And I feel like the fifth round was even more clear than the fourth round. Yes, Shevchenko landed with jabs consistently through that round and won the majority of that round. But they were just jabs. Like jabs are effective, but it's not like she landing overhands and rocking someone and dropping someone or ripping someone's body, causing them to lean over or whatnot, and grunt and grunt and whatnot. And I think ultimately, significant strikes, it was like 23-20 or something, Shevchenko. And I think overall strikes was like 24-23. Grasso had one more total strike at 24. And Shevchenko had like 3 more significant strikes at 23. So like overall strikes, Grasso landed her by 1 strike, to be honest. I mean, not to be honest, that's the stats, but statistically. And Grasso's offense was like based off like reversing the head and arm throw and then taking her back and actually landing a heavy ground and pound from the back mountain. Like I feel like that's much more significant than a jab. Like yes, my flatten out or you right on my back, they curving up and they get hit with elbows and you doing uppercuts from the back mount and hitting them in the face. Like I feel like that's way more significant than occasional jab here and there. Let's just like again, like it's just some Hall of Fame jab. You getting dropped from the jab, getting your nose, the skin off your nose ripped off from the jab. Like it was some decent jabs, but I definitely think the ground and pound of Grasso was much more effective, and the submission attempts and the control was much more significant. So strike and total was very close. Then you got the submission attempts, you got the back control, the overall control in that round, 1 minute 30 seconds, plus only like a 3 differential and significant strikes. And in total strikes, Grasso in that round actually outlanded her by 1. So I think that was a clear enough round for Grasso. Shevchenko made a consistent mistake she makes, and it cost her the fight. If that didn't happen, that would be a clear Valentina Shevchenko win. But by her making that mistake, that pattern of hers caused her to lose the fight. Will cause her to have a draw. But good fight. That's my opinion. Like your opinion can be something different. You can feel like, oh, Valentina Shevchenko won every round. A one drop does not win a round. A couple knees to a grounded opponent, she should have got DQ'd. And one back kick after getting outboxed for 3 minutes of the round, or 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the round, doesn't constitute a winning the round. So she won no rounds. That could be your opinion, but this is my opinion. I feel like Grasso won 2, 4, and 5, and I feel like they were clear enough to give it to her. And I feel like if there was really some home cooking, well, that 10-8 was weird. It shouldn't have even been a 10-8. It should have been 2, 4, and 5. It should have been no 10-8, this and that. But yeah, it is what it is. The fight wrapped up. It went to a draw. I think they'll rematch. I think that's smart. I think that's the best move for both women. And I think this time Grasso's going to win. For sure. Like, not no decision. Well, not no split decision. It might be a decision. It might be a submission. It might be a knockout. But I think the winner is going to be Grasso. Like, everything's moving her way. Like, she's a younger fighter. She's just going to get further into her prime. She's kind of in that right spot in her career, just in her 30s, like 30 on the dot. And then can shift to 31, get a little bit better. Whereas Shevchenko, she's declining. She looked a little bit vintage, but no matter how you look at it, she's declining. Like, she's looked herself, but behind all of that, she's declining. And also, she's becoming more predictable, and other people going to be able to exploit that. And one of those people is going to be Grasso yet again, and I think she beats her in the rematch in the end of the trilogy. And I can say that with pretty good confidence. I think it probably will be average or high confidence when they do rematch, and that's going to be confidence put on Grasso. But yeah, how do y'all feel about the card? How y'all feel about that matchup? Who do y'all think won the matchup? Who do you think won which round and lost which round? And yeah, let me know in the comment section below. That's the video. Thanks for watching. And also, who you think is going to win the rematch? So, who you think won the fight? Who you think won this round and that round? And who do you think will win the rematch? Who are you picking in the rematch? If they do the rematch, well, they should do the rematch. And in all likelihood, they will do the rematch. But yeah, that's the video. Peace.